Notion. Basically, like every single project I do, every single startup, one of the first things that you have to do is figure out like where the hell you're going to organize everything. Like you could be having your task somewhere, you could be having your project somewhere, and like often what happens is startups and companies and even just people doing their own projects put everything in 18 different places. You don't know where the hell anything is, and then like pretty quickly, you don't know where anything's going on. You have a hard time understanding what's up, and all your information is strewn about everywhere. So what we're going to be doing today is kind of going through the system I've been using lately for kind of acquired applications, for kind of like companies I've consulted with, and then even in my personal projects to be able to organize all the information and be able to just kind of create one little nerve center where I can work from, where contractors can work from, where investors can take a look and kind of poke their heads in and see what's going on. And in general, like everything is in one place and you don't have to worry so much about what goes where. So we're actually going to go through setting up a Notion setup for myself, in which it's actually going to be in the open. So what I'm actually hoping to do is I'll be kind of making this a little bit meta. So when you go to the beam.fm, which is my page, we're going to be editing that in real time. And then that's going to be kind of the example of how the stuff works. So we're going to dive in. So I'm going to switch this up. So now we should be on a screen share, which we are. Check that out, magic. And so what we have here is we have two things. First thing I'm going to show you, this is kind of a public facing page. If you're going to go to the beam.fm, this is Notion. It's what you would see. What it isn't is it doesn't really have a lot of the things that we would need to be able to really manage a project here. It doesn't have projects, doesn't have to-dos, and it isn't somewhere I can really work from. This is kind of very public facing, and that's what we're going to change. So what we're going to need to do is first off, kind of get a really clear set of goals around the project. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and create a project here, which is going to be projects. And this is a actual database, what they call tables. And the thing that's like really, really cool with this stuff is when you create a project, this can link into everything else. So like as you're creating to-dos, as you're creating like updates to your project, whatever the case might be, you're actually going to navigate this stuff in like a really, really advanced way. And it's going to come together so it's pretty usable. So in this case, we're just going to create a project as a really rough example of this video that we're doing right now. So like a Notion business dashboard. So we're going to go into projects, boom, that's what it's going to be called. And then we are going to add some of the important fields here. We're going to have kind of what is the business area it's associated with. It's going to have what the linked OKRs are. It's going to have a DRI, directly responsible individual. We can call that assignee because let's not get too freaking fancy here. And then we're going to have kind of meetings associated with it. We're going to have the priority and we're going to have status. Cool. So we'll just do this really quick. So for priority, I like to just kind of have this be a simple drop down. And then for the options, have some stuff just like really easy, just like highest to lowest. So we're just going in here, we're doing configure options, and we have one that says highest. Cool. And then we're going to have one that is lowest, or let's see, high, high, medium, low, lowest. All right, cool. And now when we go in and we do configure options, we have all the options and like this. Good, great. And next we're going to do status. So this is just going to be, I'm just going to pull in the ones that I have from another project. And these have worked really well for me. And so we're going to have some statuses here. So we have like in progress as one of the top ones. Because I like to see just kind of when I'm sorting by status, I like to see the projects that are in progress at the very top and then on deck and then proposed. So this would be stuff that maybe like I've kind of drafted. I'm getting people's thoughts. Like when I'm working on a personal project or there's like a business one that's about to happen, I really like to just send that around to some people and just get some friends' thoughts on it. Shoot at the people that I respect and just kind of see if I'm smoking something or if I'm onto something. We have draft. That's just kind of like just put some thoughts together, but not really show it to anyone. concept. This is often be just like a one liner. Like it'd be really, really rough and pretty half assed. And it's just me throwing something out there. And it might just be the title of the project. And it's something I kind of hope that I'm going to fill in later. So then we have concept next completed. I like having completed things basically at the bottom because, yeah, you want to be able to see them, but it's not really functional to look at stuff that's done. So I prefer having that at the end of the list. And then canceled, similarly, that's even more useless to be looking at than completed things. Cool. Super easy. So now that we have this project, what we're going to do is we are going to start breaking stuff down. So, like, what is it that I want to have in my dashboard, this video that we're kind of creating live together here? There's a few different areas. The first is going to be, projects, which we just did. We're going to have to-dos. We're going to have OKRs, which stands for objectives and key results. And this is just a way of measuring progress. It's super popular. The God tier CEO, Andy Grove, came up with it. And a lot of people way smarter than me think that it's the best thing to do. So in general, just use it, screw it. We're gonna have meetings, and then we're gonna have the business areas or the key areas. So um, what this area is going to be, kind of what the beam is going to be for me. And, this is me creating the area that I'm going to be working from. It's going to be a place where I am organizing videos that I'm making like this. So there's going to be kind of videos are going to be important. There's going to be posts. So there's going to be kind of posts like this. And there's going to be actual like development projects. So like things where I'm working with developer friends on creating kind of pieces of shared infrastructure that kind of other people can use and just kind of slap into their own businesses. So those are going to be three of the major areas. So let me go back here into projects. And then when I'm thinking about like what are the areas of my business, I want to be thinking about like if there was going to be a couple of very clear cut places where you put all your effort, what are those areas? So in this case, like what are my goals at a top level is I want to first off, I want to make it so that I'm going to get to like some like very small number of subscribers, like 100 in Q1 2021. Okay. Not setting the world on fire, but that'd be cool. Let's get to 50 new email subscribers who I don't know. And then these would be kind of two objectives. And then the kind of results to get there would probably be, in my case, I would need to have at least one video published a week. Go on to three friends' podcasts. Let's see, then probably just kind of like publish um, two articles a month. Um, Ask for retweets from friends with large followings. And then interview people I know that are super successful because that way I can just kind of steal their credibility. How awesome will that be? So those would probably be like pretty good for this list. As far as email subscribers, I think that's going to be really strong because that's going to be the kind of content that I can promote really easily. Publishing articles, I think that'll also be kind of more along this lines. And then for YouTube, I think this is going to be kind of all she wrote. So in this case, now I have kind of a couple of very rough goals. And now, like, I'm looking at this. I've now set a specific goal that's measurable, and there's a specific amount of time that I want to accomplish this in. And then I want to have an email subscriber list. So instead of just having like a list of a bunch of friends, I want to have like a list of people that I don't know. So if you're watching this, by the way, go add yourself into my list. The As I'm going, I then want to be creating content. So YouTube video content would be one key area. Another would be uh, 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 written content. I should be scheduling. So if I'm kind of thinking about this from like kind of a treating this as a business, I'd really be thinking about for myself, um, w- what are the ways I can guarantee that I'm actually going to follow through on publishing content on YouTube on a regular basis? Because it's a behavior change for me. I'm not doing it already. Otherwise, I'd have more than one video on my channel right now. So to be able to actually like publish video content on an ongoing basis, like ideally, I'm only going to have to depend on personal discipline, like 25% of the time, because if it's 80% of the time, this is going to be a lot harder. So ideally, I can actually just like schedule some interviews that are kind of guaranteed and easy to do. And those could be like a wide range of people. Another could be discussions with people I just find interesting. And a third could be actually interviewing other people I find interesting. Like I've been reading a lot about Venice. Like I'm just super into Venetian history. I think merchant republics are fucking awesome. And I think there's like a lot of lessons from how these merchant families came together to work together and have kind of a common good in terms of what the state would provide to help everyone's commerce work better, but they were still competing. I think there's like a lot of interesting things about how we can learn from the history of oligarchic republics like Venice for how we actually organize ourselves politically and in communities online. So from that, like there's a lot of like really obscure books about Venice I've been reading. I think it'd be super sweet to interview some historians who wrote those books. So I think from an interview, like a scheduling interview standpoint, if I can if I can schedule one interview at least every other week, and then that's in my calendar, I'm totally guaranteed to follow through on that. Like I'm not going to be like it'd be such a like a douche thing to like schedule an interview and not show up. So if I can schedule an interview every other week, then if I'm looking back to my goal of publishing one video a week, eight by end of quarter, then that would get me halfway there. So let's see. So I'm going to have this be a key area is just kind of scheduling interviews and just kind of doing that on an ongoing basis. There's going to be a lot of to-dos that are going to come from that. Um, let's see. We had the video content, we had the written content. Um, we then have email newsletter. So I think this would be trying to think about doing this in a more systematic way. Cause like right now I have like a Substack link, but it's not like a real Substack. It's just like a place where I emailed some friends like some posts and stuff. And this would be kind of trying to translate that into something that's maybe it's like a weekly touch point, interesting links, some things I did, things I think are kind of cool. So like let's start an email newsletter and have that be another key area. And then finally, I guess it would be a building out from just a content standpoint. Like I really like the idea of capturing content that I already have. Like in my case, like I've actually captured like when I was between like 18, 24 and 22 or something, 32 now. I was writing down like every single quote that struck me in a book. I would write down, and it was really there's something kind of almost mesmerizing for me personally about like going back and going through these like 80 pages of quotes and notes that I captured when I was going through this really formative time. And I was just like learning about the history of entrepreneurship and like, oh my God, there's a thing called finance. And like going through the experience of like learning all these things and everything was absolutely new all the time and then finding those quotes like it was like a really powerful experience for me. So because I still have that in a document called notes and quotes, I think it'd be kind of cool to just put that online and maybe start publishing that. So I guess like I'll just kind of take that as an area, publishing um, notes and quotes. um, Yeah, actually, but that the problem with it, this would be a bad key area. So, if we were talking and then I was advising you on growth, or we were talking about like how we would structure something, like you suggested that, I'd be like, oh, good idea, but no. And in this case, I can say it to myself, good idea, no, because the problem with saying something like publishing notes and quotes is that this is a time limited thing. The key areas of your business are places where you're going to be doing the same shit on this area for months, maybe even years. And yeah, like you might decide eventually that some key area is low value and it's like less valuable than other places. Okay, cool. Fuck it. You move it around, you kill that one, you spin up a new one, all good. But like, there's no reason to start up a key area that is going to be time limited. So this is like not a really great way of capturing that. I think this is more publishing. It's like publishing personal interests essentially. So it's kind of like personal interests, publishing personal interests, and that's going to be basically notes and quotes slash books, Venice stuff. We can just kind of put it there. Um, and I like that. I like that for this because this is if this was a business area, like to give you an idea of which ones I have for an acquired application. Um, there's CAC, LTV, and instrumentation. That's one key area there. That's where I'm like looking at what is the relationship between cost of acquisition and LTV, and then making sure there's the instrumentation, the product, to be able to kind of measure those things in a clean way. Another is user acquisition, kind of managing the paid ads around that, the content creation, the pipelines, the contractors involved with it. A third is email marketing. You tell me looking at the other screen where I have that open. Email marketing. Another would be kind of onboarding, invitations, upsells, increasing MRR, physical book or physical product sales, customer service, ops, and stability. So in that case, you can kind of just like, without even knowing like the specifics of the business, those are things that are generally not going to be changing on an ongoing basis. They're always going to be really important to the business. And if I were to wake up every day and allocate a day to focusing on just one of those areas, I'd be really successful that day, and there'd be some value created for the business. In the same way, when I'm just trying to get more disciplined about creating my own content, I think this is a pretty decent start. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create these as the key areas, and let's rock it out. Now, this is of course a little bit weird because like this is going to be like literally on the beam.fm. So like if we go over here, I have this Notion set up to just like straight up publish. So even though I do this setup for a lot of professional private projects, I haven't done this for a public one, but I think it'll be cool. So let's just give it a go. Okay, so now I'm just gonna switch over to a different window, and then we're gonna edit over here on the left, and we're gonna use this over here as some notes. So within this, I'm now just gonna create a key area of YouTube video content, and then we're gonna create a key area of publishing written content, and then a key area of scheduling interviews, and then a key area of email newsletters. I'm doing an extra bracket there. Cool. Key area, publishing personal interests. And those are going to be the areas. Okay. So live walkthroughs, this is going to be kind of an area here, which will actually, this will link to the video once it's up. And then these were some notes I had for this meeting, or not for this meeting, but for this project. So I'm just going to kill this. I'm going to move it into the project. Hello. Oh, I hit it. Cool. There we go. Yep. So these are my rough notes. And now we're going to go and we're going to create this first area of YouTube video content. And the reason that we're going to have all of this content, whether it's like a project or a video, everything is going to be in databases, is it's going to make it so that as we go through in Notion and we create our key areas will always be up to date with useful, actual information. So it's really at our fingertips to kind of see the information we want to do. So in this case, if I do, I'm just going to do a link to the database, and it's going to be project And that's this one. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So I might have to refresh. Cool. So now what we're doing is we have a view of this. And the thing though is that right now this is showing everything. So if we had 10 more projects, this would show all 10 of them. And we only want to be seeing the projects that are related to this key area of YouTube video content. So in this case, I'm just going to be going in and drum roll. I'm going to create a relation. We're going to go and create the list of key areas. Okay. And this is going to be a table. I'm going to copy it. YouTube video content, publishing written content, scheduling interviews, email newsletter, publishing personal interests. And then what's going to happen is that now when we go back here, we're going to be able to create a relation between projects and key areas. And what that's going to do is it's going to let us filter by what key area we want to be seeing. And that's going to really help us keep a lot more organized. So the first thing we have to do is we have to make it so this column is a relation, and we make it related to a key area. Boom, done, score. And then this video this is, I mean, a video. You're watching it, and it's a video. So that's there. And then this is me in this case. I don't really need to see the assignee field it very much because it's like literally me publishing content. So I'm just going to create go to properties and I've turned that off because I don't care. Cool. Um, so now what we're going to do is if we had another thing for like under publishing personal interests, like publish, right? First post about about Venice Republics. Okay. So this might be this would be a post and this would be publishing personal interests. And it'd also be like, publishing written content. So I can relate this to both of these key areas. And then next, I might want to do something like publish um, publish 10 5 notes and quotes items with mini essay about each. And that'd be maybe it's like picking out some of the ones that kind of matter the most to me personally and just kind of, just sharing some stuff that I think is kind of cool there. So that'd be very much personal interest. And now what's going to happen though is when we go and we filter this, we're within the YouTube video content. So I'm going to add a filter now and just to kind of go through that a little bit slower. So coming down into properties, going to filter, and then going to key area, and it contains publishing or YouTube video content. Okay. Now, whenever we visit YouTube video content, we're only seeing the projects related to this. Progress. Great. So then similarly, if I go into publishing personal interests, um, even though we created a key area back here as like a little table, let's give that a little nickname. I'll look at my emoji. Um, the whole purpose of this database is just to make it so we can link stuff. Like the way Notion works is that you have a big gap between pages and databases. So in general, anything that you do that's repeating over and over again, you really want that to be in a table because that way you're going to be able to link things together and it's going to be very, very easy to find your work. So let's go into publishing personal interests. And here, this is just a normal page. So there's no way for Notion to know that this is actually related to that key area. This is just text right now. So we actually do have to link this. So I'm just going to do create link database. And again, to-dos, or not to-dos, it's key areas. Cool. And then we're going to do a filter for key area. Contains. Oh, I did that wrong because we need to make this a this needs to be a table for projects. I did key areas instead. That's where everything was messed up. So then we have projects, and now we go into filter. And now that we're actually cranking, now we go into key area, and it's going to be publishing personal interest. Okay, cool. And now we only see this. And again, like I'm just going to hide that assignee one, and then that's going to be a little bit cleaner. Cool. So from here, where we are is that like we have an area over here where we kind of are starting to have the different areas that we're going to be working in. But let me just make this a little bit larger. I'm gonna make this, yep, cool. And now we're gonna start having priority and status. So in this case, YouTube video content. Like I have, this is a status of in progress. I mean, I'm literally filming it right now. Cool. And then YouTube video content, I'm gonna do like a another video maybe on breaking down into breaking business into key areas. That'd be another video. This one's obviously the highest. That'd be kind of medium. I think that's an okay idea. It's not great. And then another would be on a friend of mine, Faraz Ahmad, who does a retro app here. That's like super cool. And he's setting this up. So I want to do a video helping him set up his stuff. So organizing or setting up Faraz with Notion. I think that's going to be a cool video because it also helps me leech off his audience. Sweet. And then that's a concept. And then this is a concept. And then kind of as I go, I'm just going to kind of add more and more into this. Next, I'm going to have meetings. And so the reason I like having meetings is whenever I have a call with someone and kind of a topic comes up, I like taking notes. And this is actually like taking notes that don't suck. Thing you can do when you aren't leading the meeting. Um, so like I find that like just having like as close to verbatim notes as possible is really, really powerful because like I'll be talking with someone about an idea for one of these, or I might be talking with Faraz and we're just kind of like jamming on different product ideas over text. And then like something comes up where we talk about like a video idea, we talk about like an idea where we like how we could collaborate. If I don't have somewhere to paste that into pretty much right away, like it's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. So I really want to make it so that that is not going to just die out. So what I would do is I would then kind of put that into meeting notes. So what I'm going to do is just kind of very similar to what we did before. And then I'm just going to call this whole area working in public. And then I'm going to create another table for meeting notes. And then I'm going to give this a icon because really like I mean like add icons it seriously makes it a lot easier to see what's going on. Okay, so now we're gonna have a meeting notes, and like let's say it was like I was meeting with like Faraz about talking about organizing like retro or kind of like helping get set up with marketing analytics or something. Cool. So we'd have Faraz, since it's Colin, retro analytics setup, and then this is then going to be related to video. So when we go into like the we're going to link this into the key areas, and we're going to see that this is going to be tied to YouTube video content. Cool. And so now when we go into YouTube video content, and then we say meeting notes, drum roll. Yep, meeting notes. Cool. Now we're going to be able to do a filter on this for the planning zone of YouTube video content. Cool. cool. So now when we're here, like we can really just see everything at a glance, and it's kind of nice and tight. So this video is kind of probably starting to get a bit long. So what I'm going to start doing now is I'm just going to kind of capture what the objective for just this single area is, and then that'll kind of give like a decent structure for this. And then I'll probably do another video the next time I do a big Notion cleanup. So when we were talking before about goals, it's that one of my main ones here is getting to 100 YouTube subscribers in Q1 2021. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to set up a OKRs area, and you guessed it, this is a table. So let's see here. We have a OKRs area, and then we are going to have a name of 100 subscribers. Cool. And then this is going to be either an objective or a key result. The difference is that like an objective is kind of the high level, kind of gnarly goal that you'd be really excited if you hit it. And a key result is like a very specific, very measurable thing where if all your key results get accomplished, you're pretty much guaranteed to have accomplished the objective. And even if you miss a couple, excuse me, even if you miss a couple of the key results, you're still very likely to hit it. So this is going to be an objective. This is going to be tied to the drum roll. It's going to be tied to the key areas. There we go. And we're going to call it key areas. And this is an objective. And this is going to be a YouTube one. Next, we're going to have the goal here, one video published a week, 8 by end of quarter. And then this is a key result, also tied to YouTube video content. And key result. Yep. And then a 2 to 3 is just kind of a crappy thing. Like just pick a number. Like, right. That was a very limp thing before. Like 2 to 3. No, it should be 3, or it should be 4, or it should be 5. Like, just pick a number and try to hold yourself to it. And then ask for retweets from friends with large followings. I think this might be get what would be a reasonable amount? On 2 YouTube posted Twitter. So if this might be like kind of like 2 different tweets announcing a YouTube video. I kind of like this. Okay, so this would be like that's not a crazy number because I feel like it's like if I have like I have like a lot of followers on Twitter, but I have like enough that like if I get like a few people retweeting it, I might be able to get like 1,000 or 1,500 impressions, which is like not setting the world on fire, but it's like not zero. But then if like very occasionally, like maybe once a quarter or something, we'll get up to like 10,000, and that's like often because I got retweeted by a few people or got a bunch of likes. So I think like 5,000 on something that is announcing YouTube video, that'd be like a really good driver of this. Where 3 retweets were driven with 3 retweets you asked for. So that's kind of a good way, just kind of holding myself accountable to the numbers. So then what do we do from here? Now what we do is we have the key results, we have that, and now we're just going to relate these. So we're going to say the parent objective, because one of the really cool things you can do within Notion is you can set up these like basically recursive um, properties. So like sync both ways. This makes it so that when you have like a structure to it, so you kind of have like a child and a parent. And in this case, these key results, they're kind of underneath the objective. And we really want to model that appropriately. So if we're looking at one of these key results, we can go through it just like that. So we're going to create a new one here, parent objective, and then we are going to tie this to YouTube. And then here, you see now that we created this as the parent objective, now there's this relation. So now we have child KRs. Cool. And then finally, we are going to have a column for project. This is going to be a relation to projects. And this will be this will be one of them. I mean, this is a video, and this is trying to get like, hey, if you're watching this, A, thanks for getting this far. B, hit subscribe so I can get this number up. Yo. And so any projects I have that are related to these OKRs are then related. And one of the advantages of this is that one thing I really like to be able to do when I'm planning is I can just be looking at this and I can be looking at this key result. And like, let's say that I'm just looking at this as a view for YouTube video content. So now instead of looking at all the content, I'm going to create a view which is only going to show the stuff that's related to it. So now I'm just looking at this YouTube video content, and I can be looking at like which of these key results don't have um, which of these key results do not have any projects associated with them. Because it's like, if this is empty, right, then like clearly I need to come up with some project idea that's going to work. So like, go on three friends' YouTube podcast channels by end of year. So this will be something, uh, first video on, this will be one for there. And I'm going to need to be able to get kind of like two or three more that are along those lines. And then that'll help me hit that. And even if it's, like some of them, it's going to be like kind of also small channels. Like this is such like a true, like I'm like not like shooting for the moon here. Like I'm like very, very small. So like anyone that has any amount of audience at all, like I'm going to be super excited and super grateful to go on them because it's just so much greater than my existing reach. So by having this OKR set up like this, we're really able to go and plan, and we're able to look at like where are we light, where are we heavy, and then where do we need to come up with more project ideas. So now, if we go back to our key area of YouTube video content, and let's just give this a nice little icon. We're gonna have to get a vid. All right, this will do for now. Then what we'll do here is finally we'll have our table that is a linked database, and this is for key or this is for OKRs. Ah, let's try that again. And this is for link, or this is for OKRs. One more time. Yeah, cool. And now we only want to show the OKRs that have a relation to the key area of YouTube video content, which they all do right now, but that won't always be the case. And now this is like actually like pretty damn good. Like the only thing that's really left is going to be creating kind of to-dos. And that's going to be something that can be like super, super basic at first. And we'll just kind of like throw some together here. And we'll have some statuses. And I like to have blocked at the top. And then I like to have in progress. And then on deck, and then backlog, and then complete, and then canceled. Okay. And then we're just going to make it so we can relate these to projects. And let me give you an emoji. All right, cool. And then we have our projects, and then we're gonna have um, our our projects, and then we're gonna have a relation for not OKRs, but for key areas. And then we're gonna have priority, highest, high, medium, low, lowest. Cool. And now when I go back into my area for YouTube video content, the last thing here is going to be creating my linked database of to-dos. And now, when I'm like looking at kind of these projects, in the case of the project kind of accomplish this, when I'm looking at each of these will be linked to to-dos. So one of the first things I do whenever I create a new project is I go and I link it to to-dos. And then in this case, this project is breaking business into key areas. Then what I would need to do for this is this would be a video where I'd be talking about how to go about breaking a business into key areas, examples for for an acquired app, a new SaaS startup, consulting startup, or a consulting business, in each case, talking through how we would go about breaking up the key areas. What is a good one? What is a bad one? Why organizing a business like this makes it easier to think about. Cool. So in this case, I would need to write rough script or a 2M video or create a 2M video audio recording about the topic. Get feedback from friends. Cool. And then this now needs to be filtered to be related to the project that we're in right now, which is breaking a business. Great. And then this also is here within here on YouTube video content. Cool. And now we can look through our to-dos and we can just filter this by a key area of YouTube video content. Great. So where we are now, kind of compared to where we were at the beginning of this video, is we now actually have a set of pretty useful things. So we can go through and we can look at our key areas. And then each of these key areas is then linked into meeting notes, into OKRs, into projects, and into to-dos. We can go and we can kind of just like browse meeting notes by a specific area. We can look at OKRs and kind of like have some measurable objectives. And now we could also have current value. Right now, my number right here is 1. So hopefully I can get this number up. It doesn't kind of only halfway count. I think my dad's the only subscriber right now. Check that out. And so this right now is 0, but it's going to be 1 once this is done. This is at 0. And then this is at 0/0. And so I'll be able to measure my progress against this very cleanly. And then I'm going to have a due date of when I want to have this accomplished by. And in this case, I said end of the quarter. So that would be March 31st. And when I'm going through to-dos, they're also all kind of tied to this. So this isn't as fleshed out as it is for kind of once like the system is fully in flight. But hopefully you can kind of imagine how if you were able to kind of go in and look at your key areas of your business and be able to really easily just kind of bounce around, see like what are all the meeting notes that have happened about this, see what projects are in flight, what the priority is. And then critically, as you're onboarding new people, as you're bringing new people into your business, you're able to kind of just show them this. And let me switch it. Here we go. Hey, as you're kind of going through your business, you're able to bring new people online, and they will be able to instantly see what's going on in every area, and it enforces a lot of transparency. It makes it so that for like a lot of communication challenges that you have at doing a startup, they're going to be lessened because you're not going to have the same information siloing. If you have like a culture where everyone is sharing their notes in public, where people are communicating written objectives and then actually talking about success or failure in a way that isn't, negative for the individual, but just a reality that happened and how do we fix it or celebrate it if it went well. That's a big deal. Like that really makes it so that for a lot of the things, whether you have people that are playing favorites and hiding information, that shit doesn't happen if you adopt a system like this. And then also just for your own purposes, I think it's really easy to focus a day on a key area and then try to make sure that one is going. Or better yet, you can kind of think about each of these key areas in terms of delegation. Like, is this a key area that you yourself are leading? Or is it a key area that you're delegating to someone specific? And now you're changing it. So they're kind of continuing with the form of the system. They're kind of maintaining the approach to the notion. And then you're able to just pop into that key area, see the meetings that they're taking part in, and maybe even like watch some of the Zoom recordings of the meetings that seem particularly interesting, right? Now you don't have to be everywhere at once. You don't have to be rushing from meeting to meeting as much because everything is transparent and in the open. You now have the ability to you have the ability to be in a lot more places at once because you don't have to actually be in those places. You can trust that you can just pop your head in afterwards and check the recording. So this is an approach that's worked really, really well for me. I hope it works well for you. I'll do some more videos about this in the future. Please, if you got this far in the video, leave a comment, just say what up. If you also got this far, go to thebeam.fm and sign up on the list of people and also subscribe to this channel. Let me know which parts of this were confusing, which parts of this you'd like me to expand on. If there's elements of this that you think wouldn't work for you or that seem heavy, let me know because this is stuff that I'm kind of like actively iterating on. And this is probably the fourth or fifth version of kind of my Notion system. And this is definitely working heads and bounds better than anything else that I've used in the past. But it's also changing every few weeks. So love the feedback. Let me know how this video was. Let me know if you got this far. And thanks time for watching. Cheers.